I've sold over 750 homes in my career as a real estate agent, but my gosh, I still remember what it was like when I first started and didn't even have a single client yet. It was kind of nerve-wracking. So, are you ready to hear the top 10 best tips to get your first real estate client? And would it be okay if this advice would also help you get your second and third and fourth and 10th and 25th client? Okay, cool. Let's go. Tip number 10, present yourself as a professional. 90% of real estate agents dress and act way too casually. The other 10% sell 90% of the homes. If you want clients to trust you and choose you and recommend you, you have to look and act like a professional. That doesn't mean you have to wear a suit, but you do need to wear very nice clothes during business hours. If you don't have nice clothes, you need to buy them. And if you don't know what clothes to buy, and this was me, by the way, go to the right store and ask them for help. If you're a guy, that's Brooks Brothers or Joseph A. Banks or the Men's Warehouse. Our high-producing female agents here recommend Banana Republic, Ann Taylor, or J. Crew. Also, speaking of being professional, be on time. Check your spelling and grammar before you send an email. Do what you say you're going to do when you said you're going to do it. Sad to say, but doing these basic things will put you ahead of 75% of real estate agents. And that's good for you, right? Tip number 9, know something about real estate. You know by now that the real estate licensing classes don't teach you anything about how to help buyers and sellers, and unfortunately, neither do most brokerages. But you need to know the basics of how to advise buyers and sellers so that when somebody asks you a question, you know what to say, and you'll feel confident putting yourself out there as a real estate agent. Luckily, we've got you covered for this. Go to our Relevate Real Estate website and watch all those videos we made for our buyer and seller clients. In addition to that, learn how to look up data and market information in MLS. Study those reports. Congratulations, you now know more than 80% of real estate agents. Go forth with confidence. Tip number 8, go see people in person and drop some of that real estate knowledge on them. Okay, so now go see your closest friends and family in person and practice on them. Tell them the best of what you've learned. If they own a home, print out a basic CMA from MLS and tell them the sale prices of the homes that have sold recently in their neighborhood. Tell them they are hereby your first clients, not necessarily to buy or sell a home, but to be kept up to date on what's happening in the market. And most importantly, ask them to refer you to anyone who is thinking about buying or selling a home. Now go see everyone else you know in person. Tell them you're already off to a fast start in real estate and you already have clients you're advising, right? If they own a home, bring them a CMA of their neighborhood and tell them your favorite tip about increasing the value of your home. You got that from the videos I told you about a minute ago. If they don't own a home, tell them your favorite tip about how to get ready to buy a home. And then ask them, do you know of anyone who's currently thinking of buying or selling a home? If they do, get the person's name and phone number and set up a time to meet with them. If they don't, ask them to refer you to anyone they run into who is thinking about buying or selling a home. See what we're doing here? We're not just asking people if they personally want to buy or sell. If they do, they know you're there to help them. We're asking them to refer us to anyone else they know who is thinking about buying or selling a home. That gets you exposed to many, many, many more potential clients. The average person knows 200 other people, by the way. And we're only on the third of 10 ideas to get clients. You're doing great so far. Next, tip number 7, put everyone you meet into a database management system. You need to keep track of the contact information of everyone you talk to about real estate, including their phone, their email, their home address, at minimum, and a record of your interactions with them. A bit of a bummer here. I actually don't know of any good database management system for realtors. I don't like any of them. And if you have one that you love, please let me know so I can recommend it to other realtors. At Relevate, we actually programmed our own database system from scratch to do exactly what we wanted it to do, and we love it. But it's only available to Relevate agents. So at least you need to use a spreadsheet for this. And here's the key. Everyone you meet who has told you they'd recommend you needs to go into this system. And from now on, until the end of your ridiculously successful, long real estate career, many years from now, you need to send everyone in that database something related to real estate every month and call behind that information. Ask them if they run into anyone who is thinking about buying or selling a home. Otherwise, they won't remember to refer you. They don't have their priorities straight, apparently. It's your job to remind them to keep yourself at the top of their mind. Next, while you're out there talking to everyone you know, it's super important that you also, tip number 6, talk to new people. Here's the deal. Half the people who knew you before getting into real estate will support you and refer you eventually. They all know tons of people who got into real estate and then quit after a few months. They also know you just got started in real estate like yesterday, so many of them will want to know you've gained some real world experience before recommending you. So for both these reasons, you'll need to prove the real estate part of you before they trust you. The other half of the people who knew you before you get into real estate will have a really hard time seeing you as a real estate professional at all, ever. They knew you as what you were before real estate, and that's the picture they have in their mind about you, regardless of what you do. For these reasons, it's very important for you to meet new people who didn't know you before you get into real estate. These new people will only know you as a real estate agent, and that's a big advantage. 3 points here. Do not attend traditional networking events. You won't have anything in common with them except needing business. Those relationships are going nowhere. You need to think about what you enjoy doing and go do it with other people who enjoy the same thing. Join a chess or a ping pong club or volunteer at the museum or a political campaign. My best places to meet people were at church and at CrossFit. Second, each time you attend an event, make it a goal to meet 2 or 3 new people. Ask them what they do for a living and they'll ask you, and you can ask them if they know a real estate agent they feel comfortable referring to friends and family. If they don't, tell them you'd like to earn their trust to be that person. That leads to our third super important point. Believe what I'm about to tell you because it's true and it's a good thing. More people than you think will use you as a realtor or refer you to their friends, even if they just met you. My friend Wendy in Dallas, Texas started in real estate after her career as a stay-at-home mom. 95% of the people she knew before real estate only knew her as a mom, and none of them sent her any business. Almost everyone who did were people she didn't know before she got into real estate, and she sold 51 homes her first year. Listen carefully, you do not have to have done work for someone in order for them to recommend you. You just need to make a good impression and follow up, which is why I recommend not carrying business cards with you, because you'll, tip number 5, send handwritten personal notes in handwritten addressed envelopes with your business card inside it, which will give you a good excuse to ask the person for their home address, right? People just don't receive handwritten personal notes anymore, and that will make you stand out as a special and thoughtful person who follows up as promised. And of course, you'll be smart and get nice, heavy, solid magnetic cards because it makes you seem more substantial and like you believe in yourself enough to invest 25 cents per card instead of 2 cents. And because people throw those paper cards away, but they put magnetic cards on their fridge or filing cabinet where they'll see it every day. Make it a habit to send handwritten notes after each time you speak with anyone about real estate. Matter of fact, you can put a card in every one of them. I remember sometimes my clients had 6 of my cards on their fridge. That didn't make me feel that bad. Now, of course, you'll also have created Facebook and Instagram and LinkedIn social media accounts, and you'll friend everyone you meet because that's how you'll, tip number 4, show everyone evidence of you being busy doing real estate. You might say, Mike, I have no clients, so how can I do this? Here's how. First of all, get it into your head that client doesn't necessarily mean a person who's buying or selling a home with you right now. A client is anyone who sees you as their source of real estate information and to whom you are regularly supplying that real estate information. And you're currently doing that for everyone you've put into your database, right? Yes, you definitely are. Next, schedule previews of listings all over every part of the city or town near you and take pictures and video of you doing it. Post these images everywhere on social media of you showing these houses to yourself. Point out the homes you like the most for your clients and why, and talk and write about the advantages and features of each part of the city and each town. Also, volunteer to show homes and do open houses for other agents who are too busy to handle everything on their own, and take pictures and video of you doing that too. All this will show people how busy you are, and you'll get educated about the market more than many busy agents. The bottom line is that only 1 in 100 agents will actually do this advice. I don't know why, maybe because they're allergic to work, but you aren't. You're a go-getter, and people will notice all this activity and begin to believe in you big time. Soon, you'll be busy with people who want to buy and sell now. Okay, we've arrived at our top 3 tips for getting your first client in real estate. And tip number 3 is, be a leader and an organizer. When people choose a realtor, they want a leader, someone to take charge and make things happen for them. So you need to be seen as a leader in other parts of your life too. This will supercharge your efforts to get people to trust you and recommend you. For example, in every group I was part of, I put together a membership directory to help people get to know each other and what they did for a living and their hobbies and if they had a spouse and kids. Everyone loved it and appreciated me, and I got to know them and I got all their contact information. Almost all of them subsequently used me to buy or sell a home and recommend me to others. Speaking of which, one very powerful and specific way to be a leader and be seen as a proactive, value-added person is to do tip number 2, knock on every door around you and build a vendor list. So start with whatever neighborhood is closest to you. Print out multiple copies of 2 things before you leave home: CMAs from MLS for that neighborhood, and a basic list of vendors who you feel confident recommending that homeowners actually need: HVAC services, lawn service, electrician, plumber, etc. If you don't have a decent list, ask other agents in your office and they'll have tons of recommendations. Go out on a Saturday or after work and knock on each door and say something like, "Hi, I'm Susie Smith. I live around the corner and I'm a real estate agent. I wanted to give you this analysis of your neighborhood and also this list of vendors I recommend who you might need someday. And I wanted to ask you if you knew any really good vendors that I should add to the list, like," and then name 5 or 6 categories you don't have yet, like computer repair, carpenter, painter, countertop installer, hardwood floor refinisher, accountant, appliance repair, favorite restaurants. You get the idea. Either they'll engage with you or they won't. If they do, great. Add their suggestions to the list, and most people will give you some suggestions, and ask them if they've run into anyone else who's thinking about buying or selling a home. Add these people to your database or spreadsheet and mail them an updated and expanded vendor list. And a personal note, they'll love it because they helped you make that list and they're already on your team. Again, agents won't do this type of thing. You will, and you'll get the business. People want to work with and recommend a leader, a go-getter, and this is an outstanding example of what that looks like. And finally, the number 1 way to get your first client is to seek to be respected and not liked, huh? At this point, before even considering doing anything I'm recommending in this video, I urge you to ask yourself the question that will define your career. Do you care more about being respected or liked? Here's the deal. If you care most about being respected, you might still be nervous, definitely, about doing what I'm recommending here, but you'll do it because you care more about being successful than you care about what people think of you. And people will notice you doing things to be successful that they themselves are afraid to do, and that will cause them to respect you. And that in turn will cause most of them to sincerely like you too. Listen, the number 1 thing you need to do to be successful in real estate is ask for business. You need to ask and ask and ask and ask and ask. And if you don't ask, you won't get. And if you care more about being liked than you care about your own success, you won't ask. If you care most about being liked, you'll constantly be worried about what people are thinking about you when you're doing the admittedly gutsy things I've recommended in this video. You'll have a stomachache during every minute of it, and you won't ask for business like you need to. You'll be so worried about bugging people that you'll be apologizing all the time. Successful real estate agents are leaders who make things happen. They understand the importance of being successful, not just for their own personal ambitions, but because the world needs leaders who are willing to put themselves out there to accomplish big goals for the benefit of everyone around them. So are your goals important enough to not care what other people think as you go after them? If so, everything I've recommended in this video will help you achieve those goals sooner rather than later. So you've gotten your first and second and third and fourth and fifth client, congratulations. I've got one more powerful technique you should use. In addition to continuing all that I've explained in this video so far, the most important technique to get your next 100 or 1,000 clients. When you've done a great job for a client, get a photo of them with you with a sold sign, and you can do this for buyers too because you helped buy the home, that means you helped sell it, and then interview them and write up their words of praise for you. And then plaster that testimonial everywhere. This is called evidence of success, and it's super important. Many of your people will be waiting to see if you actually sell a house before they'll go out on a limb to recommend you, so show them. As I said earlier, you need to be consistent with sending real estate information out to your database and calling behind it and asking for business. At Relevate Real Estate, we have tons of systems to make all this easier, smoother, and lower cost. If you're in a city where we are and you'd like to come talk to us about working with us, click the link below to set up a time to visit with us. In the meantime, I highly recommend you watching this next video about the choice all newer agents must make. You can't avoid it, so you might as well get the best information now so you can make the best decision for your future. See you on the other side.